Hello, my name is David Webb, and this is a video for Dweebovision. I am a Scrabble grandmaster, and in this video I am going to play Scrabble while providing in-game commentary on my moves. Hopefully this will help to improve your game, and be fun to watch. The game has just started, so let's join the action. It's my opponent to go first. My rack looks close to a bingo. I'm not sure about Rebegun. Through an S I would have Sungreeb or subgenre. I've got 5 floaters to consider. Rebegun does play in row I, but I'm not sure of it. Can't see anything with the C. Well, I have Burgeon through the O, but that's a non-bingo. Nothing with the P that I can see. The R duplicates a tile on my rack. And, well, I can't see anything with the A, but this does feel close to a bingo. So, Rebegin is certainly good. And I think Rebegan is. And I think Rebegun, well, I just don't feel confident about that. Just checking these floaters again. Now, do I have a double-double through the O, even if it's not a bingo? Well, can't see one. Okay, so how do I sort this rack out? I'd like to play off the G, the U, and the B. I could play Burg through the O, but that's leaving double EN, which is slightly unbalanced. Well, what about Burgeon? I think that is going to be okay. Not a double-double, but it does score 20 points, and it keeps the board wide open. Don't think I have a bingo. I do have the J, which is an excellent scoring tile. I have add G go through a G, but that's not going to score very much. Great, that's phony. So, how can I score well with the G? With the J, rather. I've got an A and an O for going in front of the B. I'm looking in column 4. Ah, well, I've got JA, which also sorts out the consonant imbalance. This is going to score quite well, 46 points, and the rack leave is pretty good. Promising looking rack. I think through an I would have Bankside. Can't see a 7 with this. I'm looking at the R and the A of Copra. The R looks like it may go quite well with this rack, but I'm not seeing anything. And what about the A? Can't see anything there. I may have something through the J, but my opponent could well be drawn to using it himself. Now, what about lower down? My K can go next to AB in row C. What do I have that goes in front of OU? Well, just my S, so I'm not going to be using that. Great, only 7 points for my opponent, and the J remains available. So I could play Jakes. That burns the S. Do I have a play which keeps the S? Well, I could play Benge, but which is keeping the S, but it's also keeping the K. Let me see what this scores. 39 points, that's pretty good. What would Jakes have scored? 48 points. 7 more points. Yeah, I think Jakes... No, BND's not a great rack leave. Do I have an alternative play using the J? Not that I can see, so I think I will go with Benj. Just pause in case there's an amazing J spot elsewhere I haven't seen. Well, I could play Jabbed in row C. But that's only... well, that's 38 points. No, I couldn't. I don't have the J. Okay, I'm going with this. I don't think Dis Park is good. I now have an 80-point lead. If Dis Park was good, it would play in column 9. This looks quite a useful set of tiles. I wouldn't be surprised if there were some 8-letter bingos. But I can't see any through the floaters on this board. Ah, yes I can. Parkade. Through the A of Copra. Fantastic. Now, where's the best place to play it? I think right here, because it puts either the P or the K on a double letter square. Parkade's 68 points. And I draw a lot of vowels, but I have a good lead, 130 points. So, do I have a bingo through any of the consonants? P, R, D, and S from Parkades are all good floaters with these letters, with this rack. Can't see anything with the P. I've got Erotica, but that's not a bingo through the R. Okay, I can't see anything. I don't think I have a bingo, so how do I sort this rack out? What's going to be tricky is scoring well. Now, do I have anything down from the C of Copra? Well, I have Coatee, C-O-A-T-E-E. That would sort out my vowel problems. Ah, Disaster. Parkades isn't good. I suspect it's therefore spelt A-D-E-S. Well, that stayed on the board for a while. So I no longer have an amazing lead. Or a large lead. It's now only 60 points. Ah, how annoying. Okay, so I'm back with this rack. What can I do? It's quite a good rack. I don't see a bingo now, but it is a good rack. But there aren't many scoring spots on this board. This is a good board for bingos, but not for scoring. Again, I'm looking at the C of Copra to see if I have a play of at least 5 letters long to get to the double word square. Caprid is good, I think. But it would be nice to play off the K because the rest of the rack is pretty bingo-y. Well, that's pretty good for my opponent. 62 points. So I have a few more floaters to consider in respect of bingoing. And in particular, I'm looking at the E of agitate. Always a good bingo-y tile. I don't think spraked is good. Okay, what about the T? Nothing there. The A I've already tried and failed to use well. Now, what I can do is play in row H. I can play park beginning with the A of agitate. That's going to score really well. Can I put my K in that spot? Well, I could play caddy, keeping PRS. Can I play off the P? Well, not without burning the S. So, I like the rack leave after park. DIS. So, 49 points. I draw the Q, but I have an I to go with it to make Chi, and I can play Chi in row D. Chi and DI. That stays available. I could also play cats in column 13. Let me see what this rack leave looks like. Yeah, I think this is a better rack leave than this rack leave plus an I. Now, have I overlooked anywhere? Ah, well, of course I have. My Chi can play here for much more. 45 points. Excellent. Well, pretty interesting rack. Don't think I have a 7. There certainly will be some 8s, but are any of them playable? Now, what about down from the C of Copra? I've got co-edit, but that's not a bingo. Cestoid, not a bingo. Okay, can't see anything there. What about column 7 down onto the R of Copra? Well, I think it's erotized, and that doesn't play. Can't see a 7. I don't really want to wreck the rack by playing co-edit, because if I play off just my O and my E, I would have a pretty good rack leave, pretty bingo-y rack leave. So where can I play OE? Well, I could play it in row D, making DE, but that scores almost nothing. I could play Evo in column 3, which also scores very little, but does open up a new bingo lane in column 2, which is quite useful given how bingo-y this rack leave is. I've only got a 45-point lead. It would be nice to keep scoring, but I can't do that without wrecking the rack. The other place to play OE would be in row K, making TOO for 10 points, only 3 more points, but I think that provides far too easy a spot for my opponent to score well in row L. So, do I have a bingo? Well, maybe I don't. No 7s are springing to mind. I'm looking in row D to see if I've got a bingo beginning with out, but I don't think out shield is good, although I wouldn't have studied it because it's too low a probability. 9, I haven't got to it yet. 18 points for my opponent. They are now 30 points behind. Duel takes an E after it, so I could play Tazel in column 15. About 45 points, although this does wreck the rack leave. I think the score justifies it, and I've also got Delish in the same spot. But that doesn't put the H on the double letter square, so I think Tazel's going to score more. I'm just going to pause briefly after putting this down to satisfy myself that I don't have a bingo. So that's 45 points. So I've got Tazel plus a D. Cannot see a 7 with that rack. Yeah, I think I'm going to go with this. I'm mindful of the time. I've only got 9 minutes left and there's still 39 tiles in the bag. Wow, fantastic. I've got Stormed in column 2, making SO. Does Stormed have an anagram? Well, if it doesn't, that's the only spot I've seen for where I can play my bingo. Stormed, is that just a singleton? Okay, I think it is. Do I have an 8-letter play through any of the floaters? Well, not that I can see. I'm looking at the floaters in Tazel and the R of Copra and the C of Copra. But I can't see anything, so I hope the Stormed spot stays available. Pretty fortunate to bingo if I do get to play that, given that I played off 6 tiles last go. And grateful for drawing an S, having burnt my S in a non-bingo play. I'm trying to keep in mind the 2-letter plays on the board in case I have a 9-letter word. There's IN in column 10. And OU in row D. Again, I'm looking at words beginning out, but can't see anything there. My opponent has challenged Tazel and lost 5 points. So I now have an 85-point lead, and Stormed is not blocked. Fantastic. This is providing a good scoring opportunity in column 1, but my opponent may not be able to use it to good effect. Stormed 64. Horrible rack, but I now have a 125-point lead. 24 tiles in the bag. If my opponent doesn't use column 1, I've got Wheel, which will score well, but I expect that he will. Now, So does take an I in front. I don't have it, but that does make the H1 triple word square available. I could play EWE in that spot. Great. Well, hopefully one of those two will remain available. And both score about, well, the lowest scoring one scores about 30 points, and it's going to sort the rack out quite well. In particular, I want to split up the U and W because that's not a good combination. Column 15 looks quite handy for a 6-letter play ending in Y. I don't see one on my rack. Well, apart from the two column 1 plays, I haven't seen any other good candidate moves with this rack. I certainly want to play off at least 2 vowels, and I can't see any way of playing off the U and the W. There's only one U unseen, so it's not too dangerous keeping the U. My opponent's got just under 13 minutes left, so he's not in any time trouble. And I'm glad he played UH, because that has taken out the very useful S, floater in Tazel. Still one blank unplayed. But the board is tightening up a bit. Stormed has taken out column 2, which was a really good bingo lane, and it's also taken out row K, which was available for bingos ending in S, which pluralise AL. I guess row L is still pretty bingo-y, because it's available for a 7-letter play ending in S, making Tods. Still 2 S's and a blank unplayed. My opponent's taken a while, so he may be close to a bingo. But if he plays in row L, then I'll be able to play in column 1. Now my opponent has lost contact or quit. So I will pause the video and rejoin when the game recommences or is adjudicated in my favour. Okay, my opponent has returned after a couple of minutes, which is good. And he does have a bingo, and he's not used the blank, so he's now 50 points behind, and he could be sitting there with the blank on his rack. He's taken out the better of the column 1 spots. So I could play U here. That's 31 points. And if I play it here, well, if I play it here, I'm playing wheel and I'm keeping too many vowels. So I think I will go with U in this spot. But then that spot above the E of detained is pretty dangerous. There's a Z out there. Well, I think it's still better to balance my rack. Pretty balanced rack, but no bingos that I can see. I can play Geum in column 8 if that stays available through the E of detained. 27 points. I've got an 80-point lead. And my opponent's bingo of detained has taken out the row L bingo lane, which pluralises Todd. So even if my opponent does have a bingo, it may not be playable. Now, apart from column 8, where else can I play? Wow, that's what I was afraid of. 69 points. My opponent is now only 10 points behind. Just looking to see if I have anything through the N of Sein. Can't see anything. So, what about playing in row L, beginning at L1? I've got just over 7 minutes left. Still a blank unplayed, so it would be nice to play off 4 tiles. So, what can go above the E of detained? Just my M. And I can't see anything with beginning with C. Either my A, E, or T can go above the A. 6.5 minutes left. Tricky, tricky rack. If I play Emu, 18 points. Not very many. And that G is not a great tile to keep. But I don't think I have any alternative if I want to reach the double word square. So only 18 points. Surely I can do better than that. Well, what about column 15? Is Glormy good? I don't think so. I know Glory is good. I can see Legacy down there though. This is going to score more. It is providing useful floaters, but by playing off 5 tiles, I'm increasing my chances of drawing the blank. And since I'm only 11 points ahead, it's important that I keep scoring. And this is 39 points, which is good. Is there a better 6-letter play ending in the Y? I'm mindful of the time, but it would be good if I could play off the U in this spot. So I've got the LY ending. Now, I think Maculi is good. M-A-C-U-L-Y. Do I play it? I'm not going to. I'm uncertain of it, and it keeps the G, which isn't a great tile, and the M and U do have some synergy. Great. I draw the blank. I draw an S. I've got the X for score. It's not a fabulous rack, but I'm glad my opponent doesn't have the X or the blank. They're both big scoring tiles. And I can play XU in row L underneath Dooley. 6 tiles in the bag. Now where else can I play my X? Quite nice to play the W as well, but that may not be possible. Great, my XU spot remains available. Looking at the scores, I'm 14 points ahead. 2 tiles in the bag, which is ideal since... Sorry, 3 tiles in the bag, which is ideal since I'm playing off 2. Looking at the remaining tiles, my opponent may have a bingo, and there are bingo lanes available. But I don't think I can do anything about that. Or can I? I'm looking at the N of Zine. I think that's the most useful bingo lane for my opponent. Otherwise, he's looking at bingos beginning and ending in R. Well, I can't see a good way of playing my X down that part of the board, and I still need to keep scoring because I'm only 14 points ahead. So if my opponent doesn't bingo, this is going to put me in a strong position. Okay, 1 tile in the bag. So, do I have a bingo? Well, maybe I do. This is quite a good rack. If my opponent does bingo, I will have a chance to make another play because there is 1 tile in the bag. So I've got the out prefix in row D. Out swims is not a bingo. Sorry, it doesn't use all my tiles. So the N is the most useful floater. Do I have a bingo through that? I have Midtowns. Midtowns, I think, is good. Or it could just be Midtown, but I think I will try that if I don't see anything better. Good bingo by my opponent, but it only puts him 10 points ahead. So I may be able to win without bingoing. Do I have a bingo beginning or ending with an R? I'm looking at rows E and column 7. Miswrote doesn't work. And how if I don't bingo, how can I score well with my W? Well, my W could make Iwi in row N. Okay, 2 minutes left. This is going to be really close. So I could play Wems across here. I'm really looking to outscore my opponent right now. Wems is going to score 34 points, so I'll be 24 points ahead. I'll lose 6 on countback. My opponent needs to score 18 to draw. He's not going to do that with a U, so I think this is a winning play. I've got 1.5 minutes left. Can I do something better than this? I'm not looking around for where my opponent can score with his U. I think it's very unlikely that he can score 18 points with it. So am I missing a bingo? Can't see one. Okay, I think I'm going to play this because I think it guarantees the win. My opponent will get 6 on countback wherever he plays. He can play in column 7. Or in column 10 for 4 points. You can play Mew in column 3 at the bottom, MEU, 5 points. Okay, he's not going to do very much. I have toes in row L in case my opponent passes. I don't think he will. Yeah, for 4 points. So, pass to end the game. And the final score, 443 to my opponent, 457 to me. A winning margin of 14 points. So a really, really close game. Let's see what I missed. It was my opponent to go first. He played Copra. Did I have a bingo? Wow, Rebegun was good. That would have played at I8, making 8R. I saw the word, wasn't sure of it, played Burgeon instead, so that was a miss. This is where I played Zhao, and that looks best, 46 points. Did I have a bingo here? No, I didn't. And this is where I played Benj. And was thinking about Jakes for 9 more points, but since the S is worth about 8, at best those moves are going to be similar, and I think there is more synergy in the rack leave after Benj. Now, this is where I foolishly played Parkades. Ouch, Dispark was good, and played in several spots, so another miss. Nice bingo by my opponent, and again Dispark's going to be playable, making agitates. Wow, 110 points, so huge miss. I could have played Kips for 61, keeping ADR. Instead, I played Park for 49, keeping DIS. Well, those moves are going to be quite similar when considering rack leave as well. Chi for 45, that was my play, that looks best. Now, did I have a bingo here? Wow, poetized. Poetized column 6 through the P of Copra. So my third missed bingo. Well done if you spotted that. I didn't. I played Evo for 7. Great. I haven't racked up 4 missed bingos yet. Tazel for 45 looks fine. Was there anything other than Stormed? There was not. So that shows, I think, the usefulness of that little Evo play. I did miss a bingo when I played it, but it also did open up a bingo lane that I was able to use. Nice bingo by my opponent, and... well, I could have played Weem, but that would have kept an unbalanced rack. Too many vowels, including the U, so... I played U for 31. I could have played MU, EMEU, keeping ELW for 3 more points, and I think that's probably a better play. My opponent was able to come really back into the game with Zine, 69 points. And, well, wow, I'm glad I didn't try Maculae. Doesn't look like it is good. I played Legacy for 39, and that looks fine. Not very bingo-y rack at all. I played Zoo for 38, and that looks best. Let's see what bingos my opponent had. Inerbs and Nervines, both through the N of Zine. So well done to my opponent for spotting that. Now, did I miss a bingo at the end? No, I didn't, and Wems looks best. And finally, what did my opponent have? Yeah, he had Mew for 5, so he did not have any winning chances. So a really close game, probably made more so by 3 missed bingos. Well done if you spotted any of those. Still scored 457 points, and it was an exciting game. So I hope you enjoyed watching that and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.